here, get set up. Top here. Chat, live chat. All right, close my door. All righty, it's Friday, man. It's been a wild ride this week. I've been on high organization, whatever you want to call it. Been lots and lots and lots of organization. I gotta get rid of this chair. This BDI chair is terrible. It's too squeaky and janky. So anyway, it's Friday. I've been working on this week. I've been working on diligently my master collection tool set again. And I love going through the tools over and over and over again. It's the value prop is the time, the energy, the sorting and resorting and sorting again. And so I don't even remember why, but I have 2 sets of Koken, the full ratchet socket set, which is like, I don't know, $30,000 retail or something crazy like that. And I don't know how I ended up with 2 of them, but I have one in my house and one here. And so having those 2 tool sets is like, it's like a dream, other than it can become a nightmare because of how much organization is required. And so it was sitting in my Lista box back in the corner of the building. And I've been thinking about, since we built the garage, I've been thinking about, man, where am I going to put that in here? I'm excited to go through it. But to go through it, I've got to go through the spreadsheets to see what am I missing? Do I have the whole thing? And what do I not need that I thought I needed? And so I'm kind of going through that. And then we'll use that information to build the website, or sort of rebuild the website. So I caught a vision for what the next iteration of obsessgarage.com looks like from a packages and a process perspective. And so from a detailing perspective, so picture we'll just call it the Obsessed Garage car washing package. So we're going to get rid of basic, advanced, ultimate. No one buys the packages anyway, or very few people do. And if they do, they're buying the basic package only. And so it's going to be what used to be the ultimate package, just the package of all the things that I'm using. And then and what's in my garage and what I would recommend. And we may sell some of that, but the goal really isn't to sell that. The goal is to just provide you with the information. Hopefully I sell a bunch of packages, but we'll provide you the information, and the information is then I can sort of explain why each thing underneath that. So picture one page on your MacBook, whatever 16-inch screen, or your normal 27-inch monitor. You have the image and the main product, and underneath that is a sort of a description or a tutorial. Here's what you need and why. Here's what you might suggest, and then you scroll up or down, however you want to think about it, and then it's all the individual items a la carte. So you can use that package to then build out what you need. And so I'm going to give people that pathway, and it'll make it much, much easier on the products team and the inventory management perspective. We're going to eliminate like 1,000 SKUs because we're going to eliminate all these little ancillary packages and make it much simpler. I'm gonna put some lev rack back in the photography studio, and we're gonna keep one of each of the packages: car washing package, wheel cleaning package, decon package, polishing package. We're gonna keep one of each of those in the cabinet, ready to photograph, so that way if we change something, we can just snap another photo quickly. And so I want to have that set up and staged at all times. It'll be a good exercise for us to make sure that we're continuing to stay up to date. And yeah, it's going to be great. So I want to do that with tools as well, where the Map Mormon Koken ratchet socket set is insane. It's whatever it ends up being, $32,000. We've sold a few of them, so somebody may buy the whole package, but it takes us like 6 months to acquire that whole package. It's like impossible because there's so many individual SKUs. I think it's like 600 or 700, 800 pieces or something like that. And so the companies never have it in stock. And so I want to build that for all things on the site. We kind of already have that with pressure washing. We're going to do that with our new roller air compressors and all the different individual details. So before I get too sidetracked here, I'll get into your questions. I see a super chat there. That's one way to get my attention. If you want to super chat me, that's fine. February 28th, which is next weekend, right? Yeah. February 28th is the Middleton Motor Works show. I think we probably have like 60 or 70 cars. So we have plenty of capacity. So even if you don't get signed up, just come, bring your cool car, and we may have some room to kind of, I don't want to speak out of turn here and get in trouble with the villages and Brian who's running it for us, but just show up and we will, worst case, you're parking in the parking lot right next to where we're at. But we'll probably be out in the parking lot grabbing cars too. So come early. It runs from 1 to 8 p.m. But come early and let's just fill this place up. And so if you don't sign up and pay the $50, I want you to do that. So that way, it helps to fund the event. That's why we kind of had people put some skin in the game. Even if you didn't get selected, I'm not selecting the cars. Brian and his team are. But to be on Main Street, we're probably gonna be pulling some people out of the main parking lot to come and fill the street up, because we'll probably end up being when it's done, probably 20 cars short or something like that to fill all of our spaces. So, but I'm gonna be there all day. Jay Leno should be there walking around. You're gonna want to come and hang out with us because it's gonna be freaking cool. And it'll be our first one. It's not going to be huge. It'll probably be a little bigger than our biggest, OG car show here, our OG open house. But after Middleton, we're going to try to get it together and have maybe we're going to have a March, early April, late March, open house as well. And you're going to want to come check out HQ because it's looking great these days. So February 28th in Middleton. Just Google Middleton, Florida, Middleton, the villages, and you'll be able to find it. All right, so super chat, Colin Campbell, thank you, sir. What's happening with the Cest Home Theater? Watch your Inside the Hex planning vid for 26. Was looking for more detail on how you're structuring the business units. So 2025, I pivoted on Canada. I pivoted on Destination OG. I pivoted on the path for Australia and the UK. I pivoted on home theater. And what else did I dissolve? I dissolved Mormon real estate, which I own some buildings and some lots, so I was able to dissolve all of that. I wanted to set myself up. I had a vision for what 2026, 2027 would look like. I needed to create the runway room and the bandwidth in order to do the Middleton showroom, which I'd say is like 50-50 right now. I'm not sure if they're going to make the concessions that we would need. I'm not trying to get a deal. I'm attempting to make the math work so that we don't go bankrupt and lose a bunch of money. So I'm okay with the Middleton showroom making a little bit. It doesn't need to make a ton of money because it opens up a lot of opportunity for us, becomes my national showroom. But I don't particularly want to take on the risk and the weight of losing a bunch of money for a long time. So I think that Jason L., our controller, had done a good job of calculating and figuring out and giving me the information I need to figure out can we do this. My gut always tells me I can do everything, but it's nice to have some numbers behind it. So just don't have the bandwidth to do all these individual entities, and so I cleaned it up, and I had to make some hard choices and make some decisions on, what am I going to do? How many products are we going to carry? A good example, which is a very crude, very simple example of a microcosm of where I'd gotten to with stuff and building the site and building, and attempting to reach people on what, I can provide value with. I'm ending the sentence with a lot of prepositions here. The T-shirts. I wanted to have all these different colors, all these different styles, and have all this, the T-shirts. And then what happens is there becomes so many of them that I can't support and can't talk about them, can't wear them all, don't wear them all, and then it takes up so much money and time and space. And so I'm in this phase which is much more consistent with being obsessed. I'm actually doing this in the building right now. I'm going through every single room, finding every single thing that's a sunk cost. Some things I'm selling off, some things I'm just giving away, donating, throwing away, sending to scrap. Things that I've been, kind of let the whole organization hang on to. That's just not my style. The style would be to have every place in this building has a purpose. Every T-shirt we sell has a purpose, is worn, is supported, and so I'm sort of creating the shelf space by selling Destination OG. The project was complete. We sort of let Michael and Rusty do whatever they want with home theater, and clean that up. And I think we did like $1 million in the first year. So I'm certain we could have done it. The issue is too many hands in the cookie jar, and it wasn't enough money to pay out for the guys that those guys were doing it full time, and so it was a little tricky to sort of make that math work. So anyway, no problems. We're just kind of cleaning it up, and I think Michael will kind of take the reins through community home theater as the brand that he's sort of building, and do more of a drop ship model rather than a stock and ship model because of how inventory intensive it is. So 2026, 2027 looks like this. Obsessed Garage. So the garage is the focus. That's what we're doing on the OG channel. It's garage, garage, garage. Anything we do, whether it's detailing, tools, flooring, lighting, cabinets, cleaning a garbage can, it all has to fit within the garage space. And I'm attempting to make it a bit more broad appealing so we can reach more people to share with them what we do, and then I can hopefully maintain all of you that care about the original structure on Matt Mormon channel. So I think I don't want to lose any of you on the OG channel. I think you'll enjoy most of the videos there, but we're thinking through, like for instance, the detailing series for this spring. First of all, I'm actually thinking about this. Hey, I'd like to sort of do some detailing stuff around the same time that everybody else is. Sort of include myself with the rest of the world. Even though we're in Florida and I can detail year round, it's nice to sort of be a part of what everybody else is up to, so I can promote the product while, instead of just doing the normal long form, I'm doing a more of a titled theme of how does this tie into the garage? How does this tie into the car and the garage and what I'm interested in? And then what we're going to experiment on this detailing series is shooting the long form while also shooting the more produced version for Obsessed Garage. So the goal is to go narrower and deeper, which is what I'm born to do anyway. The big epiphany I talk about inside the Hex was I don't have to sell every single thing that I'm interested in. And that's such a foreign topic for me. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm also dissolving curated manufacturing, which is what I called my manufacturing and assembly division. So we're going to dissolve that, and it's just going to be Obsessed Garage as a single entity. Obsessed Engineering is another entity. We're also, same thing with Dry Ice. We're not doing Dryce. We're just doing, Scott is now retired. We're doing, instead of Dry Ice, we'll be doing, ICS. We'll be doing, as Matt Rutledge is able to sort of stop working 24/7 for us here and go into more of a consulting role. He and I are going to tackle the ICS machines and making sure that that information is available, making full turnkey solutions for that. And so we're going to go narrower, deeper, focused on Obsessed Garage, on garage design, on on all the products that are on our site, and make sure that they're fully marketed, fully supported, fully up to date, and making sure that all of our teams are highly efficient. Our business is then hopefully extremely profitable, which then we can offer more upside and profit sharing to the people that work here. So, long answer to a short question. All right, let's get into your questions. Let's see. Christopher Dede says, when you've been grinding for a while, when do you decide it's time for a break? What does that look like? I don't ever take a break. I don't have any interest of taking a break. I don't take breaks. I focus on, actually, I was talking about this the other day. So I'm in this group called Founders Only Club, which is Eric Hinman's group. He's like a hybrid, I hate that term, hybrid athlete, functional fitness guy in the wellness space. I think he comes from insurance, is where he made his money, but he seems like a good dude. And so I want to go out to his mastermind. I've talked a little bit about going out to it. I kicked the can in November because I'm still having a little trouble with phobia and agoraphobia and feeling, fearful and all that crap. So I've made some huge strides in the last few weeks. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I got this invitation from this other group, this founder. It's so not Founders Only, but Founders Club, and I thought it was Founders Only guys that were reaching out to me. And so I took the meeting, and then I found myself in this group. I'm supposed to be in a group with like $50 to $100 million companies, so I wanted to be in a group of people that are on an island that's much bigger than mine. But anyway, I ended up with a group of people that were, doing much, much less. And so we were talking about they were always talking, all these people were talking about work-life balance. And then, there's a reason, I think, why they're where they're at and where I am where I'm at, is because I figured out, and I would encourage you to figure this out too. I think you need to figure out what you enjoy most about what you're doing, then figure out how to delegate and effectively delegate. We're working on this on the business course right now, effective delegation, which requires follow-up. But you're able to put a team together and to leverage what it is you have, what value you have to provide. So in my case, the most value I can provide is organizing these drawers, figuring out what tools, and then getting super excited about it, and then sharing that with as many people as possible. And so having me digging into the balance sheet and the books and the inventory management is certainly a big mistake. And so I have to give that up. You give up what you are most unwilling to give up. And so I've been spending most of this year attempting to uncover and identify those things that I'm unwilling to give up. And that's how you don't ever need to take a break. A break for me is finish the tools, go on to a detailing series. Finish the detailing series, go on to a garage build. Finish the garage build, go on to building an office or a laundry room or something like that. And just keep spinning the plates, because this is what I want to do. I feel an immense amount of self-satisfaction and self-worth by completing things. But I think it's the completion, as I kind of work through this, I think it's the completing of things that is the motivation. It's been the largest source of my angst and frustration, is that my, attempting to complete and put together the appropriate team, that I can delegate to, and then we can have effective delegation, and I can make requests of, and we actually get it done, and we get things complete. I know that every Employee feels better when they're able to complete projects. I feel better when we're able to complete things. And so if you're always in completion, you're starting big things, you're struggling through big things, you're going through the big project, you make it a priority, you finish it, and then there's no reason to take a break because the break is the start of the next thing. And so I don't, I mean, I think that that's I think it's a unique characteristic that I possess because I think most people would prefer to unwind and decompress. But I don't want to be trapped and on a beach with my thoughts. I don't need any of that. I don't want any of that. So I don't want to shut it down. I want to keep going, keep doing, keep. And actually, let me rephrase it. A break for me is when I get to stay here late and there's no one here, or I come in on a weekend and there's no one here. It would be amazing. I still, I can barely imagine this. I'm starting to put this together. But if I could just drive here, like I'd be here all the time, like on a Sunday, if I could just cruise, take the back roads and come up here and, drive a cool car and then drive a different car home, man. That's what I want. That's what a break would look like for me. But I think you have to understand who you are and what you like, and then maybe you won't need it. All right, the white RS was probably my favorite car you've owned besides the C7. Yeah, that was the picture. The thumbnail was the 991.2 RS with the green seats. It was pretty cool. I didn't have it for very long. Let's see. Any more giveaways? Hopefully not. I'd rather not do them. It preoccupies a lot of time. I'm considering doing the Golf RS because it would be crazy. If I get rid of that thing, we'll see. Mickey is at Sebring. Good to hear from you. Stream looks and sounds good. Yeah, the stream is looking pretty good. I'm looking at it right now. I finally got it figured out. So hopefully we don't have any dropouts or anything like that. But using the superior cameras on the back side of the iPhone has made a big difference. It's about as good as we can get from streaming as far as streaming goes. Because if you go use any like Cam Link or any other codec, it tends to compress it and make it worse. So I found the best thing to do is get rid of all the fancy equipment, just get a USB-C mic, plug it directly into this is my iPhone, it's just my regular personal iPhone, and works great. I don't even need any external battery power or anything. It runs pretty cool, and it's doing awesome. So anyway, let me go back up here. So, hey, Matt, how important is it to separate microfibers by type when washing? Is it really bad to throw wash pads in with regular towels? I don't think so. I try to wash as many like colors as possible. And sometimes when I get lazy, the reason why I say try is sometimes I'll get lazy and say, well, let me just see. And then I always regret it. And I throw the orange towels in and they get sort of darkened. So the thing to do is I take blues, grays, the darker colors, and I wash those all together. And I wash them on warm with a cold rinse. And I do a second rinse. I use rags to riches. And then I throw them in the dryer, and I dry them for 60 minutes on low heat. So I used to put on delicate sensing mode on the Speed Queen, but it turns it off too early, and they're still a little damp. But I don't want to overheat them. I want to get them right to dry and then take them out. So I found that 60 minutes on low on a Speed Queen TR or DR5, TR7, DR7. So it's a DR7 dryer. Works great. But we're going to be doing my laundry room series here on the Matt Mormon channel because the stuff should be arriving next week. All of my cabinets are arriving next week from Pennville. It's going to be sweet. So that's our next project here. Let's see. So yeah, anyway, I just wash them all together. I wash the pad. Because they don't tend the credit pads don't tend to get messed up. So I wash those with any colors. But if I have yellow for polishing, I always wash those by themselves. I have orange. I wash the orange by myself. Don't wash the oranges and yellows together because it'll make the yellows look kind of gross. I wash the blues and the darks, the dark grays, and all of that together. And then I will wash the silvers, the light stuff by themselves. But I don't segregate it by process. Most of the products we have are water soluble, like polishes and stuff like that. There's not a lot of solvents in most of them. And a polish I find washes out of a towel really easily and doesn't affect our drying towels. So I don't think it matters. Let's see. Ollie Inc. 2772 says, I want to polish and coat my son's black BMW. What pad polish would you recommend I start with, and others to maybe try for better results if one doesn't work? So, I mean, there's a lot of people that would argue that the polish, especially a non-diminishing polish, jumping around from product to product wouldn't make sense. I tend to jump around a little bit. So I would start with Griot's Fast Correcting Cream and a Rupes Microfiber cutting pad, or Meguiar's, either are basically clones. And then I would follow with Sonex Perfect Finish and kind of see how it goes. If that doesn't work, then I really only have one other polish in my cabinet now, and it's a Rupes Blue, coarse blue. A lot of people have been after me to add Koch Chemi, was it H9? So I think it's H9. But I also have Cut Max in my cabinet, but I've replaced that with Rupes Coarse. So I can get pretty much everything done with Rupes Blue Coarse. I would want the Coarse Rupes wool pad, Rupes yellow and white microfiber cutting pads. I would want Rupes yellow finishing pads. So, and you'll probably be able to get it, I would think. Let's see. Use the big easy lift Viper chair. Not for my office. I mean, I sit in here for hours at times. Like today, I'm here from 2 to 5 p.m. because I've got some coaching calls to do with my coachees that I'm coaching in there. I'm the course coach in the my business. I think it's the 8th time I'm taking it. So I've got those guys after this, 3:30 to 5:30. 3:30. Let's see, 3:30 to 5, I think. George Latimer says, or maybe it's Jorge Latimer, 1985 says, hey, Matt, I was looking back at Fred's garage and noticed he's using the OGDI cabinet with 2 Krenzlas. What are the benefits, disadvantages of running one cabinet with 2 with the duals? It just goes through resin really quickly. You get about 300 gallons of water, 300 to 400 gallons of water before you need to replace the resin. If you have more than one tank, the resin tends to last longer. Can you add a wish list to your website? There may be something that works now, but the wish list we've used in the past, crashed the site, where it would run so slowly. We would get terrible Google crawler scores, and it would nuke our ability to really market the site. But I'll ask the guys, see if maybe there's something now that maybe works a little better. Let's see. I think the other thing that will help you is when we get to get our packages organized, it'll make a little bit more sense on the site. Hey, Matt, I'm looking to order some rinseless wash. Do you recommend P&S, O&R, McKee's, and N914? I'm going to be getting a gallon. That gallon's going to last you a long time, maybe the rest of your life. I still like McKee's. I've went down that rabbit hole not too long ago. I like that McKee's doesn't leave anything behind, where everything else has something else in it. I don't use it aggressively on super dirty vehicles anyway. So if some of the more complex chemical makeups like the O&R V5 or Hero or some of these others, I mean, I know a lot of people swear by them, but I don't know. I just keep coming back to when I wipe N914 off, it just, I don't know, it's like untraceable. Let's see. Trading for Science says, are you going to have it where you have a subscription model? Now all big companies are doing it. I don't think so. I don't know, though. I would say never, but that's not part of my goals. Matthew Dunlap says, when doing PVC baseboard in the garage, where you will do pro slat above, what is best to mount the baseboard? Let's see, where is it best to mount the baseboard, given that the garage is sloped? The expansion gap is less at the back versus the front. I think we mount our PVC level, and so by the time you get toward the exit of the garage, there's a gap underneath it. Yeah, you need to do it level if you're doing slat wall, and so you would want to do your baseboards level. So it'd be touching the corner on the back of the garage, and then would be you'd have an increasing gap as you go down toward the exit of the garage. So I think that's how we generally do it. Let's see here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Jared says, Matt, my wife's Macan has factory PPF on the rear door impact area. Is it worth taking that off or just keep it until we trade it for another before the warranty is up? I mean, that's a great spot to have PPF. So even if I don't do PPF on the Golf RS, I will have that area done. I mean, that's a good area to have. Maybe just don't do it on the rock guard area. So if it doesn't look bad, I'd be inclined to keep it. And if you do take it off, I'd be inclined to have it reinstalled. Hey, Matt, where do you recommend getting silverware and dinnerware for an obsessed home? I really like, and this is like a familiarity thing, and I just like the simplicity of it, but let me pull up my houseware spreadsheet, and I'll tell you what it is. I'll put it in the chat here. Applications. Oh, shoot. Let me go to Google Drive. I haven't set up Drive on this computer yet. I didn't want to spend too much time. This is an old Intel. I'm going to order another computer this weekend. I want a second MacBook Pro. I've just been cheap here lately, so I'm just going to buy one. Let's see, new home purchase list. And what was I looking for? Oh, silverware. I like from Lennox. So it's Lennox Gorham. I buy it right from their site. Maybe you can find it for less somewhere. Let me copy this. I've had like 10 sets of this. Let me just get rid of all this jank here and just copy and paste this for you. Get out of here. So this is the one. I'll put it in the chat here for you. Boom. It's $200, $279, but they always run it on sale. What is going on here? I don't want this Google inspect bull crap. Okay. So hope that helps. Not super fancy, but not cheap. Super durable. I just like the handles. I like the forks. I like the size of the spoon. I think you'll like it a lot. Okay. Make sure that showed up there. Yep. Okay. Let me get this out of my way here. Leave. Okay. Shoot. I closed Google Chrome. New tab. Let me just go back to the channel. Make sure. I just want to make sure it's playing, and I'm not talking to myself here. It's muted. We're live. Man, it looks crispy, and my GT3R or GT4 RS picture looks crispy too. Okay. Shoot. Here we go. Where was I? There's my keys. PVC baseboard. PPF. All right. We did silverware. All right, ML 6008. When reapplying woofs to my windshield after 9 to 12 months or so, should I repolish the windshield or just do a good clean and do 1 or 2 new coats? Thanks for helping me spend all my money. Yeah, no problem. I would, when you're washing it with soap, I'd kind of run my hand across it. If it feels nice and smooth and slick, I would just put another couple of coats on it. But if it's been on there that long, my normal tendency would be to just polish it with review, hit it with touch or traceless, and then call it a day. All right. ESA Auto Spa says HQ is looking awesome. You guys did an amazing job. I feel like we're just getting started. It's going to start looking great. Wait, do we paint the outside? Get a sign out front. I had a dream last night, or maybe a couple nights ago, about getting a new sign, like a digital sign out front, and getting rid of some of this other stuff. Hopefully, when I get this thing nice and profitable, I'll be able to invest back in. The parking lot is already starting to turn into dust, and so I need to get that sealed. But step one is get the bullpen done. That's going to really level up the place. It's going to be awesome. Hey, Matt, I'm thinking about removing CSL XO off my 5 Series and put ADS Pro Coating to replace it. What pad polish combos would you recommend to do so? Yeah, I would do the same thing. You're probably going to need a 2-step. I mean, CSL may come off with a finish polish, but I always 2-step it. So I would want, Griot's fast correcting cream, hit it. You may not have to do too many passes if you've taken good care and you just spot treat a little bit. Hit it with yellow Rupes pad, and perfect finish, and then have at it. Just know ADS takes me about twice as long to install as it did to do a CSL XO. Let's see. Not sure if the site is having a glitch, but a couple of the shirts are not available for delivery to Philly. Well, probably anywhere. If any of the guys are listening, could you go take a peek at the shirts and make sure they have dimensions and make sure they're all shippable? Thanks for the heads up. Let's see. Jeff Jr. 82 says, been using touchless all winter up here in the Northeast. It's been incredible. Gets so much of the grime off. Yeah, I'd be touchless crazy. Any day that it was, above, say, 35 degrees, I'd be out there hitting it real quick, That'd be and I'd be cleaning the undercarriage as well and hitting it with Atomac too to help neutralize the salt. Hey, Matt, my Active 2.0 keeps causing the anti-siphon valve to leak on my hose bib. Any ideas what's causing this? I have used the OEM repair kit twice and it keeps failing. Anti-siphon, I mean, I would think that that's an issue with that, not your pressure washer. I'd yank that anti-siphon thing off and just frickin' put it straight on your hose bib. That's what I always do. I always get rid of those, and knowing that I'm not going to suck something up and push it back through the plumbing of my house. I know it's against code, but I write my own code. So, Mr. 705 says, I find myself not watching Obsessed Garage Channel as much since I've been here from the beginning. I prefer the long format videos, podcasts, and for that, I'm glad to see your channel continue. Yeah, I figured. I mean, I'm the same way. I would prefer to watch the longer form stuff, and I like making the longer form stuff better. And I think both can live. It took me a long time to get there because I've been stubborn. So hopefully you'll check out the OG channel every so often. But yeah, I'm certain that the vast majority of us that are here in the podcast prefer it the original way. And so I'm going to try to build the Matt Mormon channel up. We'll grow it to, I don't know, try to get that plaque to 100,000, and it'd be nice. It'd be cool. Damien says, hey, Matt, how are you? Happy end of February and almost springtime. Yep, springtime. We got another little cold snap here next week. I'm not looking forward to it. So we need to get through that, and I want it to get hot. Metallic Oatmeal says, hey, Matt, love the super focused spirit of 2026 with OG and separate channels, contrary to product offerings. Question for you. I know flat Harbor Gray is preferred garage wall color. What is the trim color and finish you prefer to pair with it? I like to do Sherwin-Williams Pure White, and I like to paint it with their semi-gloss. So I think it's Pro Classic Semi-Gloss is what I normally choose for my trim, because the trim gets beaten up more than the walls do. So that I don't tend to touch up. I would tend to like wipe that off, especially the tops of the trim, of the baseboard. You got to kind of wipe the dust that accumulates there. Invasion HD says, "Hey Matt, quick question: what's your recommended paint color for interior walls in a house?" I mean, it depends. These walls in here are. This is from my friend Dave Plotz, origami white with chantilly lace trim is what the colors of these walls are. I'm a big fan of alabaster white on the walls, and I've done Harbor Gray or Silver Chain on the walls in the house as well. Let's see. Anuj says, "Hey Matt, can you tell us more? Can you tell us more about the PPF you're currently using and how it compares to XPEL and STEC? Is it widely available in Florida? Separately, do you see yourself? Do you see spray on PPF taking off?" So in the hierarchy of orange peel. So I think from a durability perspective, what is it? The 10 mil XPEL is sort of the preferred track wrap to go with. For cruising around town, like my M3 has XPEL. Many of my previous GT3s had XPEL done by Ryan Burrows at Auto Paint Guard, who's great. And those cars held up amazingly well. I hadn't removed the PPF on all of them, so I'm not sure how it comes off. But the XPEL has a lot of peel. And the reason why I chose XPEL in those cases, I wasn't choosing XPEL, I was choosing Ryan. And that's what he uses, that's what he does, and so that's what I used. He actually did STEC on one of my cars. I think it was the white RS, the 991.2 RS. And STEC at the time STEC's great. It wasn't as good from an adhesive perspective. They've come a long way. John Clevin, my friend John Clevin, has made that company amazing. And so now they have their own templates, and they have a great what is it, template system, a great team that supports the product, and they have less orange peel. It looks clearer, it looks better than XPEL. Well, my friend Kevin Martinez talked me into doing the UltraFit film, which to me seems the same durability and capability of STEC, but even clearer. And so part of that is the quality of install, but the quality of it, like when you look through it, it just looks better than any PPF I've ever seen. And so I think most of the guys that are doing STEC can probably get UltraFit. But UltraFit it's a Korean company like STEC is, and it's a competitor, I guess. And they seem like really cool people as well. I met them at SEMA, and I would highly, highly recommend it. The window tint is pretty great too. So I think that it should be pretty easy to get, especially down in South Florida where you are. The spray on PPF stuff I don't think will ever really take off. You've got to be a skilled painter. You've got to then wet sand it. The other stuff that's out there is like I forget the company, but Aiden was talking to me about it the other day. But it was what used to be Icon Rock Clear or whatever. What is it, Autobahn or something like that. They're these thicker, really hard to install coatings, but I think that I don't think that spray on PPF is really very practical. How are you going to get it off? That's the other thing. Zachman Meinert says, Matt, if you had $10K and an untouched, unpainted garage, how would you spend it? Then how would you use the next $10K? So first thing I would do is paint. So I would paint it. So let's say that costs $1,000. There goes $1,000. And then I would do lights. And so there goes another, say, $4,000. maybe 5 if you did the H.E. Williams, which I would do. So I would probably just do H.E. Williams on a switch, and then plan to do the Lutron's control like later down the road. And so let's say it's $4,000 in lights. So now you're $5,000, so you got $5,000 left. And I would probably just knock out the flooring then. And I would just deal with whatever toolbox I had. I'd try to find like a used toolbox, maybe even buy like a Harbor Freight box or something like that, just to have something to store my stuff. Try to find some cabinets that I could mount on the wall. And then the next 10K, I would buy like half of my cabinet array. And then I would buy probably Sonic MSS, and I would get like 50% of what I needed, and so that would probably be somewhere like $7,500. And I'd take the other $2,500 and I'd build my pressure washer. So I had my pressure washer system. I would have my cabinet array. And I would try to sneak in some of my detailing products and things like buckets and things like that I needed throughout the year. And then the next 10K, I would finish my cabinets and I would do some audio. And so now I'm at, say, 30. And then I'd spend my next 10K on all the other ancillary stuff, shelving, all the specialty polishing tools and scissor lift or quick jacks and all the accessory stuff. So that's how I'd do it. Drew's Detail Garage kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. Break equals peace, and peace, which equals focus. Yeah, but see, I don't have a problem with focus. And so maybe I'm just in the minority. But, I mean, if you're running that hard. So, actually, somebody had sent me an email. Maybe I'll read this to you. Let me look at my sent mail here. Evan sent me an email. And he was asking about, I won't get into the details of what he's doing, but let me just read this back to him, because he's doing this as a side hustle. All right, so he has a job, a lucrative job that pays him well, and he's making, say, $10,000 to $15,000 a month. He has about $2,000 to $4,000 a month in expenses, so he's making about $10,000 a month, on average, on the side, which is a good gig. And so he has built a following. So he has tens of thousands of subscribers, and so he's kind of running up against the amount of time that he has. It's also some proprietary stuff, like it's some he's doing some like software to cars that is kind of hard. If he farmed it out, or if he hired somebody to do that part, he'd be kind of giving away some of his secrets. So he's asking me, what do I do with I'm like burned out. Like, what do I do? I don't want to just hire a bunch of mini-me's and then they steal all my stuff, because even if I had an NDA, it's probably going to be hard to follow up on it. I don't want to teach somebody and then they just go out and try to do it on their own. So I said to him, when hiring, you want to be thinking about leverage. He was asking about if he should hire somebody. So my suggestion for peace would be to learn how to hire. I said, so when you're hiring, you want to be thinking about leverage. How can I leverage my time and expertise? You don't want to replicate yourself with a single hire or give anyone else the ability to put it all together. In other words, you want to silo positions so that you are the only one that can put it all in place, put it all or thread it, piece it together. If I understand your business, you first want to hire someone to intake the customers. They do all the scheduling, take the money, or the payment, manage your calendar. So it kind of sets you up. Because my guess is he's spending a lot of time kind of tracking people down to get logged in to because he's doing some remote stuff, I think, on people's cars. And so if you could take the weight of that off your plate, you're not giving up any of your IP. You're not showing somebody else how you do it. You're just getting somebody that they're not really selling the customer. They're just kind of setting it up. Customer reaches out. I'd like to do this. They reach out, say it costs this much, get it on your calendar, and then managing your schedule, right? It's because you already you have a job, and then you have the second job, so take that off of your plate. And I said, what would someone like that do? What would someone that is doing that save you in time? How much time would you save? How much more revenue could you do with that time back? Was my question. Next, you'll probably want someone to film and edit your videos. So have your scheduler, the first hire, manage their time, manage the videographer's time according to your availability. That should also free up some more time. You want to be spending time with your customers. You don't want anyone doing that for you. You want to be dealing with customers. If you replicate yourself with someone like you, they'll want to be you. Get into the nitty-gritty of what you were doing that you could be hiring someone else to do that doesn't put your IP at risk. And so I don't, I have Mike come on and help me on the videos, but that's a very specialized, very specific thing. But in general, I'm the personality of Obsessed Garage. I'm the taste, if you will. But I have 30 some odd people that are doing siloed positions where they're hopefully really good at it, that then affords me the ability to have peace, have time. The thing that doesn't offer me peace is the leverage and the risk that I take on, not leverage in human capital, but leverage in dollar capital. So once I can solve that, I think I'm going to be driving around in a car. And so the peace argument is if you don't have peace, if you have too many appointments on your calendar, if you're the only one that can do things, you need to figure out how to battle your calendar. Get things off of your calendar as quickly as possible and get them onto somebody else's. And knowing that will help you survive. I'm going to put something in the chat here. It's 3.5 hours of your life and I've shared this many times before. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? 45 minutes, 53 minutes. Gotta find it from Naval. I've talked about, here it is. It's Naval's How to Get Rich. Now, I'm not talking about the rich part. Let me share. I want to copy the link. Now, this is for Apple. I don't have a link for someone else, but it's Naval. Google Naval How to Get Rich. It's 3 hours and 32 minutes or something like that. And he talks a lot about, there's a section in there that talks about battling appointments on your calendar to get as many things off your calendar as possible. What's the outlook with the Max Shine pressure washer after the guys visit? Max Flow. Good. We have another one coming that's going to be a pretty awesome, like in between the what's the kettlebell one? It's escaping me, the model number, something Pro. But it's going to be really sick. Wait till you see it. It looks like an engine block. It's pretty cool. The Audi RS3 would be a sick giveaway. Yeah, I don't want to do a giveaway unless I have to. Have you seen the 911 that Adam's giving away? He's trying to do OEM Plus build. I think he's doing a pretty good job of it. Yeah, I've been watching. It's pretty cool. I just don't like the turbo, Carreras. Let's see. ATD Autospa says, I know you're super busy. I sent an email last night after watching the Inside the Hex video about a few items you said you were selling. What color is the power cord reel without the cord? It's blue. It's blue. I want to say that thing's like $1,000. So I've got a couple of emails in my inbox that I haven't answered yet. Let's see. You're one of them. Yeah, I've got 3 emails on that. So I want to say $250 shipped. I think it's $1,000, and then you'd have to get a power cord for it. Let's see. I'll get to those emails in a little bit. Let's see. Brian's car stuff. You had a secret new Krenslet in your garage when you're doing the mirror giveaway. Anything to share on that, or if they're coming out with a high flow unit? I hope that they get. I gave them the feedback, and so hopefully they're going to. Hopefully they're going to fix it and create it. So, the AR stuff is going to motivate them to get moving. Going back to the agoraphobia, how do you manage to travel across the country before? Heard you talking about dealing with agoraphobia and panic. Well, it's a new freaking thing. I didn't have any issues. And so the walls started closing in on me, so I haven't been dealing with them, been working on it. But I can literally yesterday, I can see the end is in sight for that nonsense. Part of it is I've got the right team in place. I'm going to get the finances dialed. I'm going to get the operations dialed and get the building dialed. Getting my body and fitness and ketosis and all that stuff dialed. I'm under 210 now, which is awesome. My new high is 210, where I couldn't break 210. I only saw 210 a couple times, so I've got a great workout system going on. So things are looking up. So I should be able to go to SEMA and go to other places again soon. So it's only been basically since SEMA that I haven't gone anywhere. Weird question that I've never considered asking you. What dishwasher is OG spec, since you brought up Speed Queen laundry machines? The Bosches used to be, I thought, were amazing. I had a Bosch in like 4 houses ago, which is great. I had a Bosch in the Woodgate house. It was great. The last couple of Bosches I've done seem kind of jank. I think Asco and Cove, but I don't really use a dishwasher. The Miele is pretty cool looking. I don't know how well it works because most of the Miele stuff looks really great, but it's so efficient that it's inefficient. So I'd be inclined to look at Miele, Asco, and Cove, from Wolf Sub-Zero. When will you have the new AR foamer for use in the AR635? I mean, it's like 6 months out. But here's the good news. Something I got to test a little bit further. Manny just tested it for me today. So Keeve, Out of Spec Detailing, and Ryan from Fine Detailing all were yelling at me and said, dude, ours, all 3 of them, on a 1.5 operates right at 20 amps or slightly below with no grinding, no problems. It finally dawned on me. I don't know what I think about this. Mine is a pre-production unit. All of theirs are a production unit. So I think we're safe on our AR635, and many of you have been telling me this. I just didn't believe it because mine didn't work, and I didn't think about mine's a pre-production prototype. I went and opened one up. Manny opened one up for me. I said, can you test this for me? It drew 20.1 amps. And so Griot's, and didn't make any noises or anything. So your 1.5 orifice is fine. So problem solved. So we don't need the AR, but it is a nice foam cannon. But they're at least 3 months out. That was just a prototype that I have. It's not something they have. Let's see. Yeah, Koch H9 is the best heavy cut out there. No dust and diminishing abrasive. I really like Carpro Ultra Cut. Yeah, I had to bottle that somewhere and reflect. What do you think of the Aura Ring? Looking good on your fitness journey as well. Thanks, man. I love it. I wear it everywhere. It gives me credit for my wedding ring that I haven't worn for years. I got the little sizing kit. It's sized perfectly where it's not too tight but not too loose. I'm able to carry barbells and stuff with it, and it's not too beat up looking. It is awesome. I love the data. I love the sleep data. I love the daily caloric active calorie burn thing. Just kind of keeps me motivated to go out and do a little extra work. I think it's fantastic. I would highly recommend it, and just wear it every single day. I charge it like every 7 days, so it doesn't need charged a lot, and it charges in like 30 minutes. I think it's incredible. I would recommend everybody get one. I'd highly recommend it. The other thing I got coming is thanks to was it Lex? for in the UK for getting me some continuous ketone monitors from Sibio, Sibio. Yeah, Sibio KS3. They're really expensive, and I had to pay a bunch extra with the currency and the shipping and the duties and taxes. But I bought those, so I'm going to have a continuous ketone monitor, which I'm really excited about. I think that's going to help me with my eating. So it's so funny. I keep getting it from dum-dums who don't know anything. Yeah, they're getting accusing me of calling me Ozempic Matt. So I said, yeah, I wish it was that easy. I mean, just look at my shoulders and biceps. If I was losing weight, I'd be losing muscle. If I was losing weight that rapidly, it's taken me 2 years, 2.5 years to get here. I would look a whole lot different. But yeah, and I've been working hard at it, and I've kind of had some. It's like there's been some corrections along the way that I've required. Tell you what, the thing that's helped me out the most is putting that safe in the pantry. Those of you that are Hex members saw me do that. I put a safe, a MyCube safe, like a cheap safe in the pantry for all the kids' food and stuff. So anything, like the other day was some macadamia nuts, which technically I could be good with. But they do have some carbohydrates, and I was just housing those things with Michelle. Put those away. I can't have them out. H9 is designed for rotary machines. For DA, it's not that good. Is there a soap that is safe for the undercarriage? Yeah, all the soaps that I have are safe for the undercarriage. I do Built Amber touchless at 2% PIR on the underside of all my cars. Anthony George says, Matt, thoughts on the new ZR1? I hate it. It's ugly. I think it doesn't sound good. It's just, I don't know. I hate it. It decimates all. I get that, but that's not my bag. Let's see. Trading for Science. Are you going to have Obsessed Garage custom exhaust for customers with different cars because you try every different exhaust? No, I'm not doing car parts. Mopar 478. Matt, how about a hose reel mount that can hold an air hose reel and power reel side by side? Also, vacuum mount for slat wall would be nice. Yep, we're working on all that stuff. TRRACP says, what's a good desk audio setup for $2,000 to $3,000? Let's think about this. So the Power Node is one option. Power Node is $1,200. That's what I have here. And then if I got $3,000, then you got $1,800 left to do some speakers. So you could do a pair of, my Evoque 10s are I think $1,800. Let me see. Dyne Audio, Evoque. But then you wouldn't get a subwoofer. I'd rather have cheaper speakers than a subwoofer. Yeah, no, yeah, Evoque 10s are more. They're $3,400. So I would just do PSB P5s, which I like a lot, or even P3s. I would do P3s, and then I would do an SB 3000. No, SB 3000 Micro. Yeah, SVS 3000 Micro. I would do that sucker. $700 for the sub. And I'd do a pair of probably either P3s or P5s. If you can fit the P5s, it would be better. And that would be an incredible setup. Other option is Node Icon, which is $1,200, and a pair of LYD 5s, which are $1,000 for the pair. So you're $2,200 for that. There will be a little bit of a hiss in idle mode on the LYDs, but that setup would be great. You need a subwoofer, and I do the same SVS 3000 Micro. All of which would just be awesome. Let's see. Are you going to V8 swap the Bronco? Maybe I don't know. Did George publish a V8 swap on APG? It would be really cool to do. If I start driving it, when I start driving it and everything else, I'd be I'd think about it. Matt, do you have any interest in home security cameras? I do. Just Ubiquity. I don't like all the white trashy and bull crap like Ring and all the other whatever crap you get at Best Buy. I want Ubiquity, enterprise grade, and so I have all their, high definition AI cameras on all my entrances in my house, and then I have a network video recorder, NVR. I did it all myself, super easy. So I'm a big fan of Ubiquity Unify. We have it here at HQ as well. Let's see. Hey, Matt, why does Ivan and DI say chasing the tire bloom is a bad thing for the tire and not necessary for tire dressing success? That does not jive with what I've been taught. No, he's right. I mean, that's the, sort of the off-gassing of the rubber. If you just keep trying to chase tire bloom, it'll just keep coming out until eventually you've sort of dried out the tire. So you just you want to clean it and then dress over top of it. So he's right about that. Restore FX. Where did that go? Wipe on clear, self-leveling. Yeah, Jeff Jr. That wipe on clear stuff. I don't know much about it. Hey, Matt, do you have any ceiling fan brand recommendations for a bedroom? Unfortunately, the only option we have, I think, is big-ass fans, and they're crazy expensive. Like, insanely expensive. But I always buy them. Hey, Matt, hope you are well. What is the magic recipe for Atomac on rotors, dilution ratio, spray on, and dry before wash, after rinse, both? So my buddy Ryan, Fine Detailing, is always coming up with some great ideas for this. I really like what he was suggesting. He's gone up to 7%. I want to talk to Pete about this and say, why don't I just use it straight? And what he's doing now is he's spraying the rotors and letting them dry before washing. So just go out and spray it on there right now and then wash the car tomorrow. I think that might be a good idea because the whole point, it makes a lot of logical sense. The whole point of Atomac is that it's a rust, it's like a corrosion inhibitor. And so you want to use it before the corrosion comes. And so I think that might be the secret sauce. That might be the way to go. Matt, would you even entertain the idea of testing the ShineMate EB212 3-inch polisher after playing with the Bosch polishers? I'm not interested. I mean, they're just ripping off everybody. I mean, it might work. And those of you who don't care about that stuff, more power to you, but I'm not interested. I'm about as interested in that as I'm an MJJC. Stupid names. They can't even come up with good names. Even the name grosses me out. Let's see. KLS MQ3. Do you plan on carrying the Werther 30-gallon compressor you just reviewed? Potential adder options, time frame until available for purchase. Yes, we are going to carry it. In the next month, we're building the packages and all the stuff for air compressors. So we're going to make air compressors easy to buy. Let's see. Aaron says, yearly reminder, I'm still in Calgary, ready to support OG expansion. You should go talk to Carzilla, where we're going to work with Carzilla to be our distributor for Canada. Let's see. I don't know what Logan's asking there. Miele German made in the last 25 years. Yeah, the Miele stuff is definitely high quality, but they're just so focused on the European efficiency that, I don't know, some of their washer and dryer doesn't work for squat. Let's see. I noticed you always installed Mitsubishi mini splits. Have you ever looked into Samsung wind-free? No, I've either done Mitsu, Carrier, or Daikin. I mean, I usually just go with whatever my people are installing. Mini splits are pretty simple and easy to execute. Let's see. Are you still recommending the Flex vacuum on your site? I see you're using the Makita in your garage at HQ. No, it's not a Makita. It's a Mirka. Yeah, the Flex is great. I mean, I may switch to the Mirka because it's a little bit smaller, but the Flex is hard to beat. The accessories on the Flex are pretty good. Are you planning on running dual 635s? No, I'm going to run a single. Let's see. Matthew Dunlap, got any tips for surviving, organizing when you've got a family and little kids who thankfully aren't as obsessed with organization and functional simplicity like I am? Oof, yeah. You have to let go a little bit, a lot of it. I have to. And you have to be willing to do some work if you care. Once you get to a certain point in life, then you just hire other people to come and help you manage it. And then that's about the extent of what you can do. And generally, even disorganized people and kids and stuff, they like to be organized, and so we'll make it fun, and we'll have clean out sessions. My mom will come over and we'll just dial in a room or a closet at a time, and my kids have learned to like that. What'll happen is when they have their own place, they're going to love that organization as well. So you just kind of manage through it, and you just deal with the fact that your floors are going to be a little dirtier and your walls are going to be a little bit marked up, and you go around once every couple of months and touch up the walls, and you teach them not to bang into stuff, and you teach them the best you can. Eric DIY, Cox Reel's question, pressure washer reel has wiggle around the axle when winding and makes a lot of clunking. Yep, that's what they do. I thought I'd heard it on yours. Is this normal? No, there is no fix, and yes, it is normal. That's just how it works. It's not a ball bearing design. It's just sitting in like a little channel, and so the goal, it's the best we've got, but the goal would be to solve that in the not too distant future and make our own. Have you tested the Mingle undercarriage foam sprayer? No, I have no interest. It looks like garbage. I'm sure it works. A few people say it works fine. I think you're talking about it's the one on Amazon, but I'd rather not foam the undercarriage and have to deal with some junk like that. So we're working on something. Thoughts on vehicle delivery at BMW Welt in Germany? Would you be interested in picking up your next BMW over there? I would love to do it. First of all, there isn't a BMW that I would pick up in the foreseeable future because they're terrible. I have no interest in them. Too big, too heavy, too weird looking. But if they made something small and interesting, I mean, the M2 is kind of okay if you spend $30,000 modifying it. But I have almost zero interest in any BMW currently made, and looks to be future made as well. So, but I would love to do that someday. But my issue has always been I never did it early on in my life because I didn't want my car getting messed up. I didn't want to just go out and drive it. It was too important to me. So, let's see. Have you still been browsing R34s available or backseated? It's on the back burner for now, but it will be my next car, my next build. Audio follow-up. If I order the audio desktop from you, is it all plug and play and cables? Yeah, I can get you set up. I'll have to get Jason to order it for you. So just email me, matt@obsessedgarage.com, and I'll build the package. I do it all the time for people. Build the package for you and get everything you need so it's turnkey. It's really simple, but you do need to get some adapters and stuff like that. I can make sure you get it all. Just tell me what your computer setup is, and I'll make sure you get the right stuff. Spray on PPF comes off very easily and much easier than PPF because there's no adhesive. Well, if it comes off easily, how does it not just fall off? How do you end up dealing with it staying on versus getting it off when you want to get it off? I don't know. I don't know much about it. All I know is that Freddie Tavares was real interested in it, and they had to do it in like a darn paint booth, and it didn't come out so good. Can we get your thoughts on the upcoming Active 3.0? When they have one for me, I'm going to get one. It certainly looks interesting. If it's anything like the 2.3, it's going to kind of suck. I mean, it seems like it's going to be real loud, which is not ideal to me. The more I'm learning, or the more I think about it, the thing I like about the Krensla so much is the sound. And I did my first A/B test. If you haven't watched the Krensla and AR comparison video on the OG channel, go check it out. You can hear it on camera. It's just different. And so I was sold out on AR, and I'm like, well, shoot. I turned the Krensla on. It just has a more elegant frequency and operation to it. It just seems to be, and I think we sold it. It solved for a lot of people to say, look, I understand the AR has a little more output, but the Krensla is still, it's what people have been dreaming of. It's it's good. What do you think about BMW killing the manual transmission? Yeah, it's like that's why I don't want any BMWs. I'm working on Ryan. My Evo should be back in a couple of weeks from the tuner in Jacksonville. So I think that it'll be here, and I'm going to talk Ryan into getting my son into getting a GR86 or GR86. Yeah, GR86. So I'm going to talk him into a manual. He's adamant he doesn't want one. I said, well, you don't really have a choice because I'm going to pick the car for you. I also came up with, I think this is what's going to be a pretty good strategy. I only have 15 minutes here, but let me just check my calendar. I have my coaching calls. Let me see if I have a hard out here. 3:30. So 3:25 I got to be done because I got to get my material ready to go. Tell me what you think about this. So, I don't struggle with this, but I think about this to some extent. My kids, their dad is rich, in comparison to, what my parents weren't rich when we grew up. They were much younger than I was before they had us, and so I had to buy my own car, and then they helped me get the second car, and I had to pay them back. And so Ryan and Kate are athletes, so they're not going to be able to work like I was able to work, or we'd have to sacrifice, sports. And I don't really care that they work. They can work the rest of their lives. And now that I understand how to build a business, I can teach them and help them start a business. I don't really stress about that kind of stuff. Like I say, I got all these friends that are always talking about trying to teach their kids about money. I said, when they're 18, I'll sit them down for 2 hours and teach them all they need to know about money. And then they can choose to treat it a certain way or not. I don't need to ingrain it in them. It's not that freaking complicated. So I'm thinking about the car thing, and so I think from a business and a teaching perspective, what I'm going to do, his payment to me, in order to make his car payment, we got to sell you guys some car stuff. So every 2 weeks, we're going to do a wash and talk where we talk about life and business and sports and whatever's going on with him. And I'm going to teach him how to wash the car. If we do it together, it'll take us an hour. So we won't have to invest a whole lot of time. But I'm going to teach him how to product place and how to talk about products and how to sell it and video it for you guys to watch. And hopefully you'll buy the stuff to help me make his I won't have a car payment, but you know what I mean, the proverbial car payment. And so I think that I think it's going to be fun. So we will, active 75 dB is not low. The Krensla is 66. This is why, the 2.3 is 75 dB, which is crazy loud. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about doing with Ryan. And I think it's going to be kind of cool. Let's see. I don't know that the M2 CS is sweet. It's, first of all, there's nothing light about it. It's freaking piggish, heavy. But you can make it look okay with $35,000-$50,000 in parts. Yeah, Z-Vortex says the same thing. CS is still super heavy. The CS is way bigger than my E92 M3. Why don't they just make a new M3 the size of an E92 or an E46? Problem solved. because they don't know what they're doing. They're selling junk. So they're selling to the masses. Let's see. Is there a case for recessed lighting in the garage if you normally only work in the garage when the door is open? Yeah, for sure. I love the combination of recessed and linears if you have the room in the ceiling to do it. Let's see. What do you think of the new RS Avant? That's just been announced. The RS5 Avant. I haven't seen it, but it probably looks okay. Don't laugh. I put EXO on the black bottles, and they look great. Yeah, I'm sure it helps. Can you share if you have found a dialed-in shaving razor? I've tried a lot. I was just thinking about this the other day. I was looking at Hansen razors, Hansen, I think. Henson. But I don't know. I don't know much about that at all. I shave like every 5 days, so it's not like a big thing for me because I'm waspy. So, and I don't grow a whole lot of facial hair. This is day 3 of not shaving, so I'm not the guy for that one. I'll let you know someday if I chase that down. Yeah, Invasion HD. I have a Krenza for over 6 years. Just change the oil once a year with AMSoil. I never had any issues. It's a beast. Get them an Integra Type S so you can mess with it. The problem with the Integra is it's front wheel drive. That sucks. So, and it might be a little too fast. I think Ryan will ultimately appreciate learning a manual in long term. I agree. Michelle and him are battling me on this. They said, well, you can teach them how to do it. I said, the only way to learn, you've got to like live with it. Hey, Matt, any options on a 50 hertz, 110 volt pressure washer? I live where we operate on 60 hertz, 110. My AR630 is over amping by 21.5 hertz. Looking for a replacement instead of buying a frequency converter. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know of anything. Hey, Matt, so what's your go-to toilet make and model? Shoot, I don't remember the model, but it's a Toto. It's a Toto, whatever, bidet thingy. Oh, yeah, 5 minutes till my meeting. Yeah, I got 3 minutes. Title of the AR 635 video. I didn't want to like it. Maybe the active 3.0 will surprise you. Yeah, I hope it does. I hope it's great. I mean, it's always great for all of us. The guys at Active are really cool. So hopefully it's great, and I'll sell it if it's awesome. But I mean, if it's anything like the 2.3, it was a total flop, and you guys had bought it, and it was a dumb move. I don't know. I don't like it. Matt, thanks for the GT3 series and showing challenges, even having a perfect car. Yeah, more challenges coming. Sunday we'll have an update video. What about a GR Supra? Again, a little too much for him. So I want to go. I think it makes sense to go. Because I was thinking about RS3. Matt Rutledge talked me out of that one. RS3 would be sick. A 2018, it was at 8V RS3. That'd be pretty cool. So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Wyatt and Alexis will have the podcast up shortly as soon as it processes. And I will see you guys soon. Yeah, next week. Thanks for watching. And make sure to check out all the videos. We've got videos come out this weekend on OG and Matt Mormon. And come see us. Make the trip. Come see us at the Middleton Motor Show. It's going to be awesome.